welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Here we are, game number 3 here. The SkinCoin WCA HellRaisers versus Vega Squadron. Looking forward to seeing how it all shapes up here. Again, this is the round-robin group stage format of the European qualifier, so it's not like the end of the road here by any means for these teams if you end up with a loss, but at the same time, win is pretty nice, and getting those points added up and advancing on to what would then be the playoff stage here of these qualifiers. So, and once again, if you type !SkinCoin in chat, you get information on the giveaway we're currently running. Also, skincoin.org, the latest cryptocurrency in the esports market. You can check out, or you can even trade for your favorite Dota 2 or CSGO skins on top of that. So, once again, though, I'm BreakyCPK, joined by TraLFDota, and we now have our third and final game. So, Vega Squadron, even despite on the loss there, I mean, they did look good, as we were mentioning, just up until that big RP moment at the Roshan pit, where it all turned in favor of HellRaisers. So we'll see how Vega Squadron kind of gets over that and looks to enter game number 3 here now, Trout.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm interested to see how the draft goes. The cool thing is, from game 1 to game 2, we saw just 2 completely different drafts, which is always fun. Gets a little mundane seeing the same thing over and over. So that was at least a little bit fun for me.
That is true. And remember, that was also a second pick TraLFDota right there that they had last game. So wonder if we're gonna see another different initial pick at least. But for now, it's HellRaisers going the Nature's Prophet. They're gonna take it for themselves. Actually, that was picked up by Vega Squadron last game. So now the first pick for Vega.
And I'm wondering if Vega still go for Spear Breaker again. It's good. It's very, very good against the Nature's Prophet. Can charge him, keep vision, etc., etc. They picked it last game, and they picked it not even knowing they were going to be playing it against a bounty hunter, and then they got they had that matchup, which again was working out really nicely. I don't think that was an issue at all. The issue was, unfortunately, was just not respecting the RP for people that weren't tuning in. Just a big, massive team fight, despite Vega being up very, very early on. Just really swung the net worth in favor of HellRaisers. But yep, a lot of options here against the Nature's Prophet. And they do go for that Spear Breaker.
Yeah, they do. Obviously, good value, and this is now the 3rd game in a row we are going to see this series here. Yeah, the Chen last game for Vega Squadron, I mean, it was a losing effort, sure, and it got out of control and against them, but I don't think that's also a game that should deter them from picking up Chen in the future. It's just that is almost the risk you take when picking up that hero, at least with how it's been played. So probably not going to see it, though, in this 3rd game. I think would be safe to say. We are going to see Jakiro, though, in the 2nd spot, so they already kind of have their supporting cast taken care of, pending a core Jakiro, as we talked about. I mean, it's a hero that could end up anywhere, really. So, kind of leaves open options here for Vega. And now HellRaisers.
Yep, HellRaisers have a lot of different options too, to go the route of Nature's Prophet. AA is very, very popular. Now it can be a little bit dicey against a Spear Breaker. Just has no way to really stop the charge. You can cast Cold Feet right before it lands. Maybe get a proc off that, but that's the best you're going to ask for. Pretty squishy hero. It does stop the pushes if Vega did go for some kind of push lineup with Jakiro, so that's one thing to think about. But they go with a clock. Okay, they want something to get in the fray, maybe stop Spirit Breaker from charging. So it looks like this is going to be a 4-position clock here for HellRaisers.
Yeah, but Clockwork's not a popular pick lately, and I think for good reason that at least he did get nerfed quite heavily as the later patches came out there last season, and he kind of just tapered off compared to other 4 supports. I mean, you're picking up a Clockwork here over an Earthshaker, a Sand King even a Slaughter we've seen every now and then. You know, some of these more notorious 4-position heroes. Obviously, Spirit Breaker's picked up on the other side, Night Stalker's banned, but is Clockwork really the strongest pick? Is he better than maybe what the Earthshaker would have brought them, do you think?
I would agree with you. I would just say no. I think Earthshaker does a lot more damage, can solo cores if he has a good game with that Blink Dagger and the Echo Slam, and he stops charge easily from Spirit Breaker with the long range Fisher. Clockwork can't really stop the charge unless it's a hook, and it's a bit more awkward. Yeah, you can cast a Battery Assault and stop him from moving around and whatnot, but it's not as effective as just stopping it with an Earthshaker stun. But I think the biggest thing is just the damage output from Earthshaker is just so much higher, at least in burst. Obviously, Clock, at the end of a game, you can always see him rack up. But it's always like, if you look at the damage charts, you're always seeing, wow, look at all this damage done from Clockwork. But that's just over time with tons of rocket spam. So it looks like he does a lot of damage, similar to like a Puck. But man, the burst damage from Earthshaker, just, you hear it constantly from pros that are complaining, oh my god, why is this support Earthshaker being able to solo me when I'm level 17 and he's level 9 with a blink or whatever, you know? Just right place, right time, you're clumped up next to lots of units and he just bursts you down. So
yeah,
long-winded answer there, but yes, I do think Earthshaker would be a bit more strong than Clockwork. But that doesn't mean that Clockwork doesn't have his reasons for being picked. He's pretty good against Jakiro if you build an early Blade Mail. He just kind of kills himself if you jump in. So
that's a fair point. I mean, the Blade Mail candidate that Clockwork is already good against him. Hell, he's even decent against Venomancer now, when you look at it from that perspective. But Venomancer coming out as a third pick. Usually Venom doesn't make it this long. So it was snatched up initially or even banned very early on, but makes it through 8 bans and 4 picks. And here we go. Vega Squadron's like, yeah, we'll take this hero. He's a pretty good core nowadays. And there's Ancient Apparition, another hero that usually doesn't make it through, but happened to. So
now that's a nice combo, I will say, AA and Clockwork. Again, it seems to be that any kind of melee stunning 4-position support is a good combo with AA. It really is. As long as he's protecting him from these Spirit Breaker charges, I see no problem with it. You have a nice way to set up the Cold Feet proc with the cogs, so that's good. You have good damage. You have ways to. I think the main reason why I like AA against Jakiro is when you see Jakiro, and now when you see Venomancer, you're like, okay, well they're gonna push. Well, we can maybe stop that just a little bit with Ice Blast, and then you throw some rockets in the mix, and you throw Nature's Prophet ulti in the mix. You have a kind of almost a global strat here from HellRaisers. So we'll see if they continue that with something like a, who knows, Spectre or what have you.
Zeus, let's go.
I love Zeus, but would be a pretty squishy lineup if they picked up Zeus here. So
fine. No, a hero that always comes to mind though when you have an Ancient Apparition is that Faceless Void as a core option. So
sure, it's good against Sven as well.
Something that they're very, very likely at least thinking about here with the 4th pick. But other directions, I could go back to Lycan maybe? Maybe not here. This game, this would be a pretty brutal Lycan game for them. So don't think I'm going to see that coming out. What about like a gyrocopter? I've seen him a couple times for HellRaisers here. A gyrocopter. Their 4th pick.
I don't know if he'd have the damage output against the Sven. It's also kind of awkward running a gyro into a Venomancer. Just the Plague Wards makes things kind of annoying. Although I will say it's kind of nice because if you need to get some procs with your flat cannon, the Plague Wards are a nice way to set that up. But I'm on board with Gyrocopter. Like in general, I think he's a strong hero, but most teams don't think so. It takes a while for him to get items and fight, and he's really weak in the laning stage. His base damage is quite low, but they're going to go with a Drow. Not your typical Drow setup here. I guess Furion works really nicely with him. Pushes down really, really fast. So,
yeah.
See, now, no, Drow is... When you see Drow initially, you're like, okay, that's sort of all-in-y. But Drow actually can really do well in the late game, too. So there is a plan B, I can say, with Drow range.
Frost Arrow's really good against Sven, too, the kite factor there, so...
Yeah.
I'm banning Viper here from Vega Squadron, because Viper, especially with the Drow synergy now, they still need their mid-hero, and great against, speaking of Sven, talking about anti-kite, so that seems like a pretty good ban to me if I'm Vega.
Yeah, it is very, very good against Sven in the lanes well. They're going to go with a Quap. Quap is just there for extra mobility, and it obviously pairs very, very nicely with the Drow. Let's see what else is banned. Is Puck banned? Yeah, they banned Puck, so the premium mid-heroes are gone. you don't really want to pick TA. There's tons of ways to deal with that refraction. They could also just switch things up and go for someone that synergizes with a push, but also is a bit tanky, like a DK. Whoa! They switch things up. They go with the Enigma. And that could have been, was it Vega that banned Enigma last game? I think it was. Yeah. So perhaps, again, this just could be my ignorance and not knowing all the members of HR well enough as maybe I should. But there must be a player on there that just really likes to, or thrives on Enigma, or just maybe this is a team that notorious for picking Enigma. But I'm excited. It's going to be, what, a core Enigma, I suppose, in the mid lane? Are they going to go mid-profit? And Jakiro off? That could be a thing.
That's where it's odd, too, yeah. With the, I definitely would not have expected Enigma there for that reason alone. But I was pulling up their Dota buff, and within the last month, they played a total of... they haven't played this many matches in the last month. Okay, that's something else. Anyways, they played about 40 matches or so. Enigma's picked up 5 times for them. He's kind of in the middle, but he is 5-0. They're 5-0 with this hero, so they are confident with it, clearly. I'm guessing... but yeah, where do they lane here? Who's going to play what? Sexy Bambo, will he end up playing it in the off lane? You mentioned maybe the mid-nature's Prophet here, but Storm Spirit is the final pick on the other side for Vega Squadron. They do have the Gust of TraLFDota, which could be a little bit of an issue, but outside of that.
They have Gust, and they have a potential quick Orchid Rush here for Nature's Prophet. And they have Enigma, which is Black Hole, so... Yeah, it is going to be Sexy Bambo playing the Enigma, so I think it's going to be a mid Furion. I would assume so. Which is not crazy by any means. It's just something we haven't seen very often.
Or maybe a mid Drow even. It looks like it might be.
Could be a mid Drow. Yep, he is their mid player.
Yeah.
And that would be that makes a bit more sense in terms of what we've seen lately in the metagame. We have seen some one position Nature's Prophets. So, but Drow Ranger typically in mid lane is not the best, just simply because 1, he's easy to kill, and 2, his attack animation is just terrible. But we'll see. He does have help from Clockwork potentially to roam around there from potential Spirit Breaker ganks, and if he levels up his Gust early on, it just totally stops the charge. So that's one thing to think about.
Oh, good point. Yeah, that's a nice stopper for the Spirit Breaker there of inevitable incoming gank. So. Yeah, we have been seeing a bit of the safe lane Nature's Prophet, though, from here or there. Again, we've been watching a lot of the NA scene and making appearances, so I'm guessing that's where it's going to end up and in the hands of 3-3 for HellRaisers. But game number 3, I'm going to start things off with a pause. One more time, guys. We got this game here, so our second series of the day is going to be followed up now by our final series of the day, which will be Team Empire versus SFT Esports, a team that just got finished qualifying for this section here earlier on today, and obviously a team that's also been looking pretty decent in the European region, but going up against Empire, of course, a great team themselves. So that'll be our following and our final series for the SkinCoin WCA event for today. That's what to look forward to.
You know, I gotta say though, I'm really liking these drafts in this series. Yeah, they're all fresh, they're all new. It's different heroes, different lanes and whatnot. It's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, this late in the patch especially, we have been seeing a lot of staleness, and we do have some of those heroes, of course. That's going to happen from the Venom Mancher, the EA specifically come to mind, Nature's Prophet even, but all these games have had some kind of twist when it comes to the draft, at least in the later parts especially, and no different here. No different here, especially in this case the Enigma with the Black Hole. Oh yeah, what do they have for stoppers, by the way? They got another strike, yeah, Nether Strike as far as BKB stopper is what I usually like to think about. Nether Strike is the only thing, from what I can tell, that they have here. For Enigma here, as far as the BKB stopper, yeah.
Yeah, that's the only one I see.
So that's probably going to be an item I'm sure he goes for sooner than later. I guess technically Ag's Storm Spirit, would that work? Does that work where you target somebody else and AoE Vortex? I think that works against BKB targets.
Well, I don't think it would pierce it, though.
Would it not pierce it? Okay.
It's not spell piercing.
Yeah, okay, never mind. Never mind.
That would be pretty sick, though, if it did pierce spell immunity and an AoE.
That'd be really strong, yeah. Okay. Makes sense that it does not. So, yeah, it is just another strike they would have here. But we are good J4 ports immediately to the top. Gets that ward down with a smoke. Jakiro, he's going to fly up here as well.
No, we didn't talk about it that much because it kind of flew by. But yeah, this last pick, Storm Spirit, if he gets online, it's very good against the cores of HellRaisers. Now, obviously, he does have some things to worry about with Gust, Black Hole, and maybe an Orchid pickup. But if he's able to bypass that, and he gets a lot of farm, he's going to be able to zip and kill this Nature's Prophet whenever he wants. If he gets the farm, pending that. Can also do the same against the Drow, but we'll see how well they're able to back him up with the spells like I mentioned, the Orchid and the Black Hole.
30 seconds to battle.
Well, G, the one playing it, talked about it. It's been an impressive player for this team, and perhaps an underrated. I think that's you mentioned that in the previous game. I actually think that's fair to say because a lot of people may not know this name. I mean, sure in the CIS region, but overall, as far as all the regions go, it's not a name that stands out when you think of mid players. But I'm with you. I actually happened to watch a fair amount, and when I was first breaking in last season to the casting scene, I actually was focused a bit on CIS in Europe more so than anything. And he was a name that I saw quite a bit, and I remember always just being impressed by his play. So we've kind of seen that a little bit today already, even on the Pugna game last game, despite a losing effort. And he's going to get his chance here on Storm Spirit now.
Oh, but he misses his block a little bit. But we'll see.
Clockwork.
Actually get a very nice block on the side of Radiant with 2 members doing it. This is actually going to be so unblocked that it's going to go into the tower range.
It's
his plan all along.
To be fair, Clockwork did use the cogs to trap them in, so.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, a little bit of an advantage there.
He still missed the block, but yeah. So good last hitting. We got 2 under the tower there for Kaiser. So he's actually done okay there. Could have been worse. It's it's a very slow attack animation for anyone that's played Drow. So.
I had to play recently for my all-hero challenge, I think it was, and that was the first thing that stood out to me. I go to like last hit in the creep wave in the initial, and I'm just like, wait, am I attacking? Am I lagging? No, that's just she actually like pulls back the bow and then has to launch the arrow. It feels so bad. It has to be one of the slower attack animations, honestly, in the game. Yeah,
Clink's is pretty bad too, but Clink's has the huge burst damage with the searing arrows, so it doesn't feel as bad. But yeah. Anyway, auto attacks, and now he's level 2 here for Drow. So he's able to orb a little bit. Level 1 charge is not going to apply the bash, but he's taking some tower damage. Oh my god. Taking a lot of damage. Forced to Fairy Fire. Forced to pop the cogs as Milan. So, yeah, that extra tower damage really could have been bad there for HR, but he's able to salve up, and he's able to be okay.
Yeah, it's good for now, but that Orb of Venom from Spirit Breaker even, so Drow Ranger finding himself in a tight spot there initially, but really is the 2 versus 2 lane as we tend to see from game to game, at the beginning at least. Spirit Breaker, he's going to stack some Ancients meanwhile and set those up eventually to be done by Sven, and he's one of those heroes that if you have a Sven on your side, you better be stacking Ancients and even camps in general right from that first minute mark here in this game.
Yeah, this is the issue. I've now watched Drow miss like 5 creeps under the tower, and he has good damage, or she has good damage, I should say. Now that's number 6. I mean, can we keep going? He gets that one, but that's just the issue when it gets pushed into your tower. 7? 8? Okay, maybe that's 7.
Got that one.
My point is that it can be a little bit dicey when the creeps go into the tower and getting those last hits with that just awkward damage. Of course, sometimes it's... Oh, speaking of mid lane, there is a charge. He is level 2 now in Spirit Breaker. Can he get one more Lucky Bash?
Yes.
He's charging for it. He does get the Lucky Bash. 17%, and G gets credit for the kill. Maybe a counter kill here on the Slayer. Maybe not. As Zayak here on... They actually smoke out in Vision. Interesting play there, but... Yep. Bash is coming into play here as he does hit level 2, gets the aggression on the Drow Ranger. No point of Gush here early on. And you got to wonder, if he had that Gush, I think he 100% lives there.
Yeah.
Did I say Gush?
You said Gush, yeah. It's close enough.
Yeah, let's
Gush
Gush people.
Let's get that, what's the Tidehunter? There you go. I blanked on the name there. Yeah. No, but he does have Gust now, and part of me wonders if that's because almost like a reaction, like, you know what, I actually probably need this here at this point. So yeah, choosing to get the second point of Frost Arrows first, maybe backfiring. But now he has it, so that's going to be a 3-second silence. And as you pointed out, if he sees Spirit Breaker coming in, oh, he just used it though.
Oh no.
And he's being charged right now.
Clock is sitting here though, so should be okay.
Yeah, Clock should be able to cog up and block here. No, he's just not even going to. Charge is canceled, so proven to be a very entertaining middle lane though, as far as the battle between them. Venomancer, he's meanwhile essentially playing a jungle Venomancer here. In the
yeah, and as a result, this Furion is just taking off in CS, up to 32 and 11, just well ahead of anyone else.
Yeah, almost got the phase boots early on. He hits really hard when he has those, so Venomancer just not given the chance for a kill opportunity to be had. He's going to protect the tower, though, a little bit. He realizes it's taking some good damage, so sends in some Plague Wards, level 2 currently. But those Treants, they actually destroy it pretty quickly. Charge, though, on the bottom lane. He doesn't have Venomous Gale, and that's more of a get off our tower charge than anything. So he will fall back. But
I'm looking at the Sven CS, and he's essentially got a free lane, but, I mean, Bambo's done a really nice job of denying when he can, not to mention his natural deny with his Eidolon, so as a result, the CS is not as high as you would expect in the safe lane free farmer of Sven, so.
Oh my god, G might be dead. That's the battery assault for you, man. Level 2 battery assault, he finds Storm Spirit. I believe he might have been going for the bounty rune there, if I'm not mistaken. He doesn't have the bottle yet, but not sure how he ended up there, but it actually gets the kill. Afterlife, meanwhile, he goes down too. At the bottom lane down here as Nature's Prophet and Ancient Apparition come together for that. So, but finding Storm Spirit as Clockwork for a solo kill, that's a huge boost because now Clockwork solo experience, he's almost level 4 at this point. And items delivered.
Yep, and you're going to look at it looks like Drow's going to hit 6 before the Storm, so he's going to have a huge surge of damage and Storm's not going to be able to zip away from the Drow. So we'll see.
Enigma, are we going to say Hand of Midas, you think? Is that, I feel like that's usually the kind of the go-to.
Probably. Yeah, probably. It just works so well with his level 15 talent.
Mm-hmm. I've always kind of wondered about that, because there was we did see him a little bit last season, and he had a spike there, and 15% cooldown reduction is really good, too, as middle lane, just harassing him there. Oh, they're wrapping around, though. Yeah, you're right. Clockwork and actually Nature's Prophet, he's also TPing in. They want to kill here. They might find Jakiro instead. They create the Treants. They want Storm Spirit. Can they catch up? They can. The Sprout hits. And then essentially a cogs for battery assault to do plenty of damage into. So yeah, they rotate mid, stop Storm Spirit again. And this is going to be a middle tower push. This is Drow for you, though. The level 2 aura is dealing plenty for the whole team here.
Yeah, and he hit 6 before the Storm. So that solo kill, as you were mentioning, onto Storm was extremely important. If he's 6 there, they probably don't get the kill. They maybe get the tower, but they definitely don't get the kill on Storm.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's going to have to make the walk of shame back to mid. They're still putting tons of damage here into this middle lane. And in the meanwhile, Enigma's getting levels. He's level 6.5. Actually, he's almost level 7. He'll be level 7 after this Creeper, too.
Seems
Slayer,
like
he wants to kind of... Oh, they're going actually into Afterlife. Level 5, no Gale even skilled. Slayer gets his charge, stun up, Gust onto 2. Level 5 still on the Storm. Tons of damage up on the Slayer. He will fall.
Wow.
That's owned. It does 5-1 here. 3K and the tier 2 falls in favor of HR. This is how you play a Drow lineup, Breaky.
Apparently. I was going to question, is this really... Should they be doing this early on? But I guess I underestimated the potential of what they can do. And yeah, the Gust coming into play in the backlines, as we saw, set up the kill on the Spear Breaker. Another Gust as he charges in, and that's what you're talking about as far as reacting to him. Just that one auto attack. You see the chunk of life. Sven is not really ready to fight right now. The fact they're already applying tier 3 tower pressure, though, it might actually force him. In fact, he does rotate over. He has a Morbid Mask currently, so a little bit of damage there, as well as a lifesteal. 3-3 is going to be found, and they pick him off. So finally they stop something. But you look at the Radiant side, they're pinging out the top tower already. Maybe bought it, but at least Enigma's going to push this.
And Enigma's really close to his Midas, too. He has the recipe, just needs the 500 gold and the Gloves of Haste, and he'll have it. So what they're pinging is like, hey, Sven TP, there's 5 heroes mid, now let's split and push top. So even though they get the kill on the Furion, he didn't give that much of a bounty, and they're able to get side lanes pushed out. So still in the driver's seat as HR, looking pretty good.
You always have to think about Sven, though, in the back of the mind. The Mask of Madness is almost finished, and he's doing a stack right here. I'm looking around. They got a stacked Ancients on both the Radiant side, or the top side, and as well as the bottom side. So they're at least trying to get those ready for Sven eventually once he gets that Mask to take them out. Middle lane, Top tower was killed right before this, but Ancient Apparition, he will fall. Here comes a response, though. Clockwork included. He's not level 6 just yet, but it might not matter. The Gust does connect barely. The drums applied, and that auto attack damage is just so ridiculous, especially from Nature's Prophet with the Drow Aura. He hits really hard here, so.
Yeah, that's. Oh, it feels so bad for G2. If that attack didn't hit from Drow, it was uphill. If that missed, he could have popped the regen and then been totally fine. But because it hit, wasn't able to pop the regen. And although he tried, but it just got canceled. And able to get the easy kill. So Dota is a game of inches, and little things like that make a huge difference.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, if he missed that attack, he gets that kill on the AA and skirts on out of there. No harm, no foul. Nope. Mid charge again onto Ancient Apparition. This is one of the things that we talked about at the beginning of the draft. Is that AA into a Spear Breaker, and they're kind of exploiting that just a little bit. So bouncing back with a couple kills here. Gust onto the Storm, trying to get a kill onto him. He's able to be okay.
Yeah, nice charge right there. Still no level 6 for a hook shot here from Clockwork, but at least they're going to get Spear Breaker, so... And actually the trap on a G now. He doesn't have any mana left. The Rocket connects. 3-3 credit for the kill. He TP'd in, and he surrounded him with the trees. And with no mana, there's no way Storm Spirit's getting out of there, so he got it initially, but not enough, and Vega Squadron falling further and further behind. Already a 4,000 net worth deficit here at this point in the game, and Nature's Prophet, as the drums, as mentioned, 1,000 gold saved up. They are going to rotate as a double damage rune spawns for Drow Ranger as well. I feel like this happens often. Oh, DD, let's do Roshan.
This is reminiscent of last game, right? Right around this time, too. Although there is no Blink RP, there is a Storm Spirit to potentially go for some kind of steal play, but my god, this is going faster than it was in the last game.
Oh, yeah. Again, the Drow effect. We're seeing a Drow lineup actually work and being executed here. Sometimes you get the Drow lineups with the idea, but they never really get that momentum going. This is what can happen, though, if they do, and why teams consistently or tend to still go with it and at least give it a try. The hook shot hits, by the way, and Slayer, he's going to be slayed. The TP's canceled from Nature's Prophet. Not necessary. Might as well hold off on it. So if you're Vega Squadron, I mean, there's a couple of key things I feel like. I mean, Sven getting a BKB here is probably going to be important, and then Storm Spirit, just getting that Bloodstone is at least going to be a start for them.
Yeah, but I feel this Enigma's got so much farm. With all these towers, that's 1, 2, 3 towers now. He's got 1 kill under his belt, good CS. There's a 4th tower falling. He's going to have a blink. Actually, he doesn't go for the blink. He's going for the
pipe. Hood of Defiance into pipe, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting to me. I'd figure with a blink this early on, it would be very, very effective, but they really want to mitigate the damage when they push uphill, so he's going to go for this pipe before, I guess.
Well, I was actually just about to bring that up because in my mind, the logic is that because of this lineup and how it's working, you just want more of these aura-based items, right? You want more of the objective-based items. Whereas Blink is out. Do they really need the Blink Black Hole? I mean, the threat is always very good to have, but why not push the advantage you have with an item like the pipe? And one that I wasn't even going to suggest there as he does go for. So, again, that's kind of the logic, I feel like, whether it's right or not.
It could work just simply because they're thinking, well, now we have this Aegis to use. And they could just use that. Like, we can end the game right now. If we get a pipe right now with an Aegis, we can end the game right now. Whereas, yeah, if they went Blink, it's like, okay, well, we're going to look for a pick-off, but why do that when we have an Aegis? So I guess suppose with the Aegis, it makes a lot more sense to go for a much more high-ground build here for this Enigma.
I mean, even looking at Nature's Prophet, he hasn't been down into Solar Crest. Hook shot in on a Venomancer. That's an Ice Blast setup with ease. Spearbreaker charges Ancient Apparition in the backlands, but he's already done his job, and you know what? Spearbreaker, he just melts anyways. He got the assistance. The Wrath of Nature hit as well, I believe. And Drow Ranger there to assist. So 2 for nothing, and they're not going to push out. Guess what? The only lane with towers up is the bottom, and that's exactly where they're headed. Both Tier 1 and the Tier 2. They're going to push it out, and I'm sure they'll get at least the first one. The Aegis, it's got a little bit of time left still. I don't know if they're going to be able to make it all the way to Tier 3 with this Aegis, but probably clear the outer towers and then look to go Tier 3. Oh, he teleports in, by the way. Jakiro just thinking he's going to be here to counter push. I mean, he gets the macro fire down, but he dies for it. As Nature's Prophet ports in the flank.
It's his first death, but man, looks like Vega just can't get anything done with his Spearbreaker in both games now. I mean, it looked like he had a good start last game. Obviously, there were different circumstances last game, but this game, I mean, you would think on paper, Spearbreaker is good against Drow, but it's actually the opposite. Because Drow lineups, you always want to group up and push. And Spearbreaker's not good against heroes that group up. You need to catch people off, one by one, off farming on their own. But not with a Drow lineup, you're always going to be grouped up. Even if you do catch him alone, if he has the vision of you, especially in daytime, you can just cancel it with the Gust. So, here we go. This is the high ground push. They do have the pipe, I think, on the courier on the way. Yeah, and perhaps they wait for that. That's a very, very big item for this push. I hear a hook shot. It's going to go in. AA blast to follow. And that will be a dead Veno.
Clockwork doesn't want to wait. He finds a free kill, so obviously a good smart choice on their part. But Sven, he chooses to get the Blink Dagger. This is like a, we need that jump. We need a chance to defend right here, so he's going to try to jump somebody eventually. But Spearbreaker off to the side, yeah, he wants to cancel that. If he goes in, there's no way that's working out. Pipe, it is delivered, by the way. It's going to be activated as soon as Storm Spirit kind of goes in and then backs off on a Kaiser right there. Remember, he still has the Aegis, so you obviously have to be careful not to overcommit if you're Vega. And with it being this early on, Venomancer's already back up, so that's a good sign for Vega Squadron that at least they have that going for them. I'm going to have quick resurrections here, but they're just they're going to keep the push. The Macro Pyre's put down. It's just a Storm Hammer. Again, they're trying to slow it as much as possible, but they're probably going to get tier 3 here and then fall back, would be my guess.
Yeah, probably just get the tier 3 and get some shrines afterwards. Nice combo with the uphill Drow, or the Drow doing the damage to the tower. Hey, you just throw that that vortex right on top of the tower, and you have the range to do it. You just need the vision. So AA provides that, which is nice.
Yeah, that's true. We got the sight right there, and not gonna go too far though. They decided, you know, it's not worth the risk. Tier 3 tower still has a little bit of life left, and that Aegis gonna be reclaimed here in the very near future. In fact, there we go. So yeah, doing the math and figuring it's just not worth the go for it. Off to the side over here, a little bit of engagement, but Kaiser just stealing their creeps now, kind of choking out Vega Squadron, if anything, as the top lane's being pushed in by Nature's Prophet, meanwhile, who by the way, does have that Solar Crest finish, and again, he even has a mech now queued up, so this kind of goes back to that idea, the theme that HellRaisers is going for, of all these surrounding support items to just finish the game ASAP. Take advantage of the lead.
Yeah, if you're going to go pipe, you might as well go for the Greaves as well. They just complement each other so nicely.
You got the BKB in queue now for Sven, so he indeed is going for that. And it goes back to BKB is not an end-all this game, as that's just a pick on Jakiro, whatever. But it's one of those cases, those awkward instances where it still feels necessary. But it's still not going to be a stopper. I mean, you got not only Black Hole, but Nature's Prophet Sprout's going to be an issue, Clockwork Cogs. Like, he's still going to have trouble sticking on people.
Wow. Interesting buyback. I think he had maybe like 12 seconds left on his respawn timer, but he buys back, so very curious there.
It is really interesting, yeah.
They get the tier 3 and like they just immediately walk to shrines. They know they don't need everybody for the shrine. If you're on TP's top, this is maybe an opening for Spearbreaker to go right now, and yeah, they actually smoke up. They look like they want to fight. No BKB yet on to Sven, but he does have Blink, he does have ult, so we'll see.
Jakiro scouting it out. Here's Spearbreaker charging in the backlands, but Clockwork goes first onto the Sven. He's going to tank the God's Strength right here. The Ice Blast hits, and the Cold Feet can end up going off the Macro Pyre. That's his own, but doesn't matter. Drow's right click is just way too much. Nature's Prophet, meanwhile, kind of an awkward Sprout, but does still catch the Jakiro in the end. Enigma was picked off. He was actually over here while that fight was taking place, so they do get a flank kill. But 2 for 1, including the Sven kill coming out from HellRaisers, as they got the shrine on top of that.
Top.
Oh, wow.
Fearon just randomly catches Spearbreaker. I don't know if he knew he was charging. I don't think he had vision. He was just charging the creep wave just to push it out. Gets a lucky find. Tons of auto attacks, tons of damage, as 3-3 gets a free one on the Slayer. It's not typical that you see a Fearon chasing a charged Spearbreaker. Usually it's the other way around.
Storm Spirit, Bloodstone is just about here at least. In fact, he has enough gold for it. Just a matter of actually buying it. He's going to try to go to the shop over here perhaps to finish it, but I mean, Bloodstone's great. Just going to need to try to win a big fight shortly after he gets it would be the ideal circumstance, of course, now. And the BKB going to help that with Sven. So those are just a couple of items that maybe could be the acceleration that Vega Squadron needs to try to stay in this game if anything start coming back. But they really are just completely choked out here. Obviously, it's a little bit of a reset phase for HellRaisers now. There's still the top shrine that they could destroy, but they're resetting, looking for items that we're maybe going to be seeing. Draw, she has something else, right? This is not all she has. Something on the courier? No. Maybe not, actually. She has 1,800 gold, so maybe that makes more sense with the Hurricane Bike.
I think it just seems like the game is longer than it is. It's only been 19 minutes.
That's a good point, actually. That's probably what it is. Forest Staff now finished on Clockwork.
Yep, good farm for him. And actually, Enigma's not going to go for the mech. He's changed his mind yet again and going for BKB. So, wants to be able to cast that BKB Black Hole. As we talked about, the only thing that cancels that BKB Black Hole is that Nether Strike. And it's very difficult for Spearbreaker to find his way anywhere near the fights. I mean, there's Hookshot able to kill him. On top of the Ancient Apparition ulti, there's tons of auto attacks from Drow with extra range from the Dragonlance. So, it's hard for him to be anywhere close to these team fights.
Venomancer getting a little bit of push at this bottom lane. But they know he's here now. TP, believe it's coming in. Yes, it is. Nature's Prophet. They do catch him with a hook shot, and that's a free kill on Venomancer. That auto attack damage. Plenty.
I know, it's insane. On top of the Solar Crest.
Yeah.
Radiant are scanning.
Tears right through them. He also has the Orchid queued up. So here's a smoke gank from Vega. BKB finished. On a Sven here. They can find an opening, get a couple of kills, do an objective. I mean, this is kind of the chance now for Vega Squadron, despite being at a deficit. That they have is 3-3's down here, but he's not exposing himself. He's just going to TP out, realizing what's going on. So the smoke gank, unfortunately, for the side of Vega Squadron, doesn't seem like it's going to end up in too much, and Sven will just go back to farming. Now in that middle lane, but has that trio of items. Roshan is up. Plague Roar is going to scout that here for the dire side. I'm sure HellRaisers
Charge coming top. I don't know if he knows, but he knows now. Slayer gets a little bit of cold feet. Doesn't want to go in.
Understandable. A little bit too far. Yeah, what about the idea, this is kind of a fair point being brought up, as the Bloodstone on Storm Spirit, being that they're so far behind and the objectives being pushed so heavily, was that maybe the best choice in the end? It's just too good on this hero always to pass up?
Too good on the hero to pass up. And I would say, if anything, it's especially good when you're down, because you need that ability to jump, they use everything on you, or at least use a lot of spells on you, and then you have that quick respawn timer to jump back into the fight. So if anything, it's very, very good when you're down. You know, actually looking, even though they're down 11k, they actually have some good levels on their cores. I mean, the top levels in the game are the Sven by 16. That's 2 more than anyone on HellRaisers, and the level 15 for Storm Spirit. So obviously they're in a huge hole right now, but just maybe a couple silver linings in this game for them.
That is a natural downside of a Drow lineup, is you tend to group up a lot more, thus sharing the experience, thus the levels a little bit lower on your cores. So it's a good point to bring up, and they're going to find Enigma here. Jesus. Just hear the God Strength going off, and they jump on in. So Enigma's dead for 40 seconds. Good find there if you're Vega Squadron.
There is a double damage top, and Roshan respawned.
Oh, you're
It's
right.
getting scouted out by Milan here, who maybe wants to go in since they use that God Strength to Sven. He does have BKB, but without the God Strength, he's pretty weak. So here we go. If you're on ulti to start things off, cancel the blink.
Up to the side here on the cliff. They're waiting. Hookshot just misses. He blinked away in time.
Okay, so some good things happening here for Vega. They're slowing the game down. They do have very, very strong late game. They just need to get there, and need to stop this huge push and onslaught coming from HellRaisers. That's 2 kills now onto the Enigma, slowing things down, slowing his BKB down, and just in general slowing the game down. So they're doing a good job of slowly climbing their way back into this game.
Yeah, it's going to be the way they do it for sure, but we are going to see Roshan attempted again by HellRaisers, and
this is huge.
It's just, it happens way too quickly.
Yeah, this is huge, and this is cheese.
So I'm guessing Drow's going to get the Aegis again. You get the cheese to probably an Aegis Prophet or Enigma, somebody else. Look at, what is this about? Clockwork just going in. He already hookshotted. He's jumping on Jakiro, playing aggressive. 3-3 ports in as well, and they get the kill. Spirit Breaker on the ledge. He'll be fine, but Aegis is sure enough picked up by the Drow Ranger, and they get a kill out of it. And now,
that was without a ward or anything. That's just him recognizing that they might be in the area. Maybe he scouted them out with a rocket and just gets a little bit extra on top of that Roshan kill. So Milan having a very good game this game. I forgot what he played last game, but just on point with his Clockwork. Getting that solo pick to start things off, get the ball rolling onto that Storm Spirit early on in the game. And just been on point ever since. 5-0 and 9 for him.
Shrine kill on top of that, so last outer objective before the base. 3-3 top lane being charged in. Venomancer here as well. Venomous Scale, the Poison Nova, using everything. They want this kill. 7-1 and 4 would be a nice streak stopper, I believe. He gets out, but does he really get out?
Fairy Fires. Oh, he buys one, but not in time.
Couldn't use it in time.
Had a good idea, but just couldn't use it in time. Now he's got this shitty Fairy Fire in his inventory. Anyway, Slayer, they get a kill with him on Milan. And just packing up those stats, or padding those stats. 6-0 and 9 for him now.
950 bonus gold for that Venomancer, by the way, too. So, and that's something they really needed on Vega Squadron's side. He, if anything, has been a core that's just been so far behind everyone else. Trying to boost him up now with the 4 staff. He actually has a Lotus Orb queued up here, so going to be just more utility for the team. But Poison Nova on cooldown for 75 seconds. See if a fight breaks out before then. If you're HellRaisers, though, I mean, you have to use the Aegis, right? Like, you have to attempt to push tier 3 at the very least. Try to kill some racks here, because you can't just rely on continuing to suffocate this game. Eventually, it does feel like Vega Squadron will have openings.
Yeah, and they need to, as you hear all the time casters say, it's not the black hole, it's the threat of the black hole. But right now, they're not threatening with the black hole at all.
True.
I mean, obviously, yeah, they're still in a great spot, 9K gold. It's a little behind than what they were, but they're not able to get in a team fight to where they're even scared of this black hole, because Vega's doing a very good job of splitting the map. They're doing a very good job of splitting the map. Now I see a TP onto this Jakiro. He knows what's up. Can they get the stun? Nope, the hook is actually hit by some creeps. And again, this is just buying time for Vega. All these little things are just, if not only buying time, but keeping HR maybe a little bit discouraged. Like, shit, we couldn't get that kill, or now what do we do? Well, now they split the map. Well, so-and-so's pushing top. We got to defend this, and then you start doubting yourself and getting screwed up from the original game plan of pushing and high grounding with this early push lineup and advantage that they have.
Interesting choice here from this fan, but I guess it is in reaction to the butterfly that is finished on Drow, so it makes a little more sense. I didn't realize that Drow even had a butterfly at this point, and sure enough, he does at 26 minutes. But MKB queued up for Sven, so he has the Demon Edge. The MKB, 2,000 gold saved up, so he is actually almost there, pending wanting to save up for a buyback. But HellRaisers not going to give them the chance to get it at least just yet. That Gus, luckily he blinked away before he actually took damage there. He has the BKB as well, so this is an Aegis push. Again, if you're Vega Squadron, you can't go all out. Almost got the kill on Jakiro. Glimmer Cape safe. He also has the cheese, by the way, too, so now he's going to find some opportunity to put that damage into the melee racks. Falls back for now.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
But it really is a tough case for Vega Squadron to be in. Obviously, you want to go, but then you don't. Both they can react as well as with the Aegis and the cheese. He almost essentially has 3 lives here as they're pushing in. So, gonna reset it. The Plague Ward Army is doing enough defense though, and everything else, and will save the racks actually. So, despite having this Drow lineup, they still are having a little bit of trouble actually sieging the base and breaking through.
Yeah, maybe they wait for next pipe. The pipe was already used. It's on cooldown for now 2 more seconds. They actually smoked up, and they still want to do this. They have all the tools to do it. There's no reason to not push. You don't want to back off and split some more when you have Aegis and cheese. So they really want to force the issue here.
Well, Drow thought about going up, but
Blink coming out on Enigma right now on the Courier.
Okay.
This is a big opening. BKB Blink Black Hole. You can finally threaten with this.
Yeah. Finally have an opportunity. We'll see if that maybe catches them off guard even. Sven is kind of pushing the top lane, by the way. Currently, at least. Storm Spirit in the middle lane. Obviously, they can react pretty quickly. Clockwork says it's time to go in. He jumps Jakiro, but Jakiro got pushed out with the awkward conk positioning. Kaiser going to be jumped by the Stormhammer. They might actually kill it and use the Aegis right here.
Just popped.
Oh my god, he popped the cheese over the last second. There comes the black hole. The Nether Strike is going to stop it, though. He did not catch a Spirit Breaker. The BKB from Sven. He is able to run away. Lotus Orb put on Spirit Breaker. That's not going to save him, however. Too much AoE damage. And he gets taken out. Now Venomancer, 4 staff away. The Rax is still alive. It is going to be focused down now, though. And HellRaisers will get the kill, but oh my god, was that close to being a horrendous fight for HellRaisers if he actually dies there, but he does not. Clockwork goes down, but you look at the top lane as well, a little bit of pressure being applied from Nature's Prophet, although Drow is going to get picked off in the end. She does run him down, actually.
Oh, man. They only got him. That is a huge win for Vega. The fact they defended Aegis Cheese, or defended against Aegis Cheese, BKB Black Hole, down 10k against a Furion Drow lineup, and they only lost to melee Rex, and Storm got a kill or 2 out of it. I don't remember if it was 2. Yeah, the Clockwork died as well. So that's 2 kills for Storm. Man, that's a big win for them. That could have been even more disastrous. That Aegis timing, they just spent too much time poking in and couldn't commit to that. If he didn't get that cheese off, that's just absolutely devastating. But that forced Enigma to freak out. He was like, oh my god, we got to go in. You're going to lose your Aegis. And you're going to die right now. And unfortunately, you only got a black hole onto like 2 healthy targets. I didn't really do anything with it.
And it was stopped pretty quickly because
very quick.
Slayer was ready with that Nether Strike. So well played on his part. Cold Feet, speaking of Slayer, he is going to be Cold Feeted up. Storm Spirit may have went a little bit too far. He might have to deny himself. Yeah, that was definitely a kill. But here comes the God Strength. BKB pop by 3-3. The physical damage though going right through. Nice Glimmer Cape. Keeps him alive a little bit longer after the Side Slayer. He's dealing with the Ancient Apparition. But now Aloha Dance realizing he's in a bad spot. He's going to be trapped in, cleaving up, but Milan, Battery Assault on top. The Ice Blast not even necessary. And Sven is also run down. So the cores of Vega Squadron get picked off as they're trying to capitalize on what just happened at the bottom lane there. And now Sven's dead for a full minute, actually. So HellRaisers, can they get something out of this? Black Hole's down in for another 25 seconds.
Which is very, very quick. He's going to have that ready very quickly. Yeah, Sven, oh man. And I don't think they have Glyph either. I think that it's on cooldown for a little bit of time.
I believe so. Yep.
So they're going to have to do their best split or best defending here. They have wards down, but they get trucked down by this Drow who now has level 3 ultimate. Solar Crest applied, taking some damage. It's actually off the mark.
Yeah.
But Pipe is applied and he'll be okay.
Almost looked like it went right through the Venomancer, actually. That was kind of awkward. Storm Spirit going in, just harassing, trying to scare them. But the ranged Rax at least is going to fall here. Melee Rax at half-life, probably also dead. Yeah, without Sven, they just do not want to commit to a fight. That's understandable. Nature's Prophet. Oh, nice Glimmer Cape. We'll keep him good. Yeah. So now the Black Hole is back up and ready. And now the damage looks that much better. So it seemed like Vega Squadron had an opportunity for sure, starting a comeback, but then getting their cores picked off as they were overambitious, then backfired.
Yeah, and 3-3 just knows exactly what he's doing on this Furion. He's splitting while he's pushing. He's splitting top while he's pushing mid, and just switching up the damage between him and his treants and making them forcing them to make some kind of decision and going back and forth between lane and lane. And if there's ever a time that Furion shines, it's when you're down Rax, or when the enemy team is down Rax. Now they're down 4 Raxes, 2 sides. It's going to be very hard to defend. Now, the only silver lining now, I would say, is a shout out to Grand because they do have a tier 4 tower regen now for God knows whatever reason. So it's not like you can just chip on one side and wait for the tier 4s to die slowly. You kind of have to commit a little bit.
Yeah.
So there's that. But being down 2 sets of Rax now, very, very difficult.
Yep. They had a little bit of the window there. And just unfortunately, again, it seemed like it closed just about shut now after what just happened. So maybe just a smoke up, but one big chance to try to find a couple of pickoffs. They're kind of circling this area. Something tells me that's what they're trying to do here. Smoke is on Jakiro. They're waiting for Spirit Breaker to come in. Yeah, they are going to smoke up. Was that seen? Oh, that was really close to being seen by this ward over here, but I don't believe it was from the Radiant side. No pings or anything came out, at least. And Roshan's up in 40 seconds, so it's a little bit later of a Roshan spawn. But that, no doubt, is going to be the source of contention here.
Scanning.
As we advance along, trying to use this smoke, flying in Storm Spirit. Oh, they find 3-3. He was just simply farming the jungle. Here comes a response. Charge through, though. Gus does connect on a couple of heroes. Spirit Breaker is a little bit too far up now. And he will go down. As far as the response go, Vega Squadron, they're just in retreat mode. Not the most mana to work with on G here currently. So they do want to fall back. Trying to get out. Jakiro, you're not getting away. So at least they'll catch him.
Dire's top barracks are under
Spirit
attack.
Breaker is dead for only 15 more seconds, though. He's only level 10. Wow. I was wondering how it was so low.
Yeah, he's not at a good game at all. Other than that one black hole cancel, we really haven't seen him been able to be effective on this hero. And Jakiro, even though he's 0-5 and 3, has been able to fend off these pushes, but he's dead for 35. And everybody's up and healthy pretty much on the side of HellRaisers. They have a BKB black hole ready to go with a Lincoln Sphere now, so it is completely uncancelable.
Yep.
Cancelable.
Cancelable. Sven, that's a black hole. He did get his BKB up, the war cry, so he's going to survive through it. And yeah, do not underestimate his damage output. They do lose Ancient Apparition, but they will kill Sven, and he is staying dead for 75 more seconds. That should all but do it for SFTE. Looks like they're going to take game 3 and thus secure the series 2 games to 1. Drow is picked up at the backlines, though, as I say that, so maybe it's not as 100% over as I thought it was, and they are going to defend, so never mind. Game is still happening. Spirit Breaker buyback, and they're going to also find Clockwork on top of it. So hope is still alive, at least for Vega Squadron, but you do look at their base, and even more damage being taken from both the bottom and the middle creep. So apologize, though. Game's not over. Vega Squadron
The seeds of fortune.
still saying that there's hope, damn it. Storm
Grim,
Spirit's
but
gonna
not
try.
over. I was going to say in that last fight before that one broke out, I was trying to think who had the Lotus Sword. Storm Spirit was actually kept in place by the Rod of Atos, but he Lotuses himself and was able to get out. I was like, whose is that? Oh, it's Lotus Orb on Storm himself. You don't see that very often, but it is helping him from the silence. It is helping him from other things like that Rod of Atos or what have you. The Orchid from Furion. But just not enough, unfortunately. Just Sven hasn't been able to... He's been kited too much. It's the nature of picking Sven. Now, again, I think he was last picked, if I'm not mistaken. Last picked or
I think it was fourth pick. Last pick was Storm Spirit.
You're right. Still picked relatively later in the draft, and just not able to find the openings or get unkited. Just had a difficult time, and nope, hook shot here. Force staff, not in time.
Venomancer being pushed to every which way. Clockwork still running on top of him. In the back lines, though, that Lotus Orb is not going to save the Storm Spirit, but Aloha Dance finds Drow Ranger. Guess what, though? He's starting to be kited. Cannot stick to him. Storm Spirit buys back even, knowing that they're just in a kind of a desperate spot if they just have to get something, but it's not really going to happen. Clockwork finds the kill on a Spirit Breaker. The Vega Squadron will move back together. As for God Strength is going to be wearing off here as well, so that's going to be on cooldown for another 55 seconds. Black Hole is back up in a couple of seconds here now for the Radiant side. Roshan, of course, is up. I'm wondering if HellRaisers is going to look to maybe just try to do that and really finish this game. But you could argue if they do that, then Vega Squadron has a chance to get them clumped up. So it's still a little bit risky for HellRaisers to go for that Roshan kill.
Yeah, it's just really difficult to play Sven into this game. You have tons of ranged auto attack damage. You have kites, which force out the BKB, but then even then you can sprout him, which is as a result we see this Quelling Blade in his inventory still, so he can deal with that. But it's just so many different things for him to deal with. You saw him jump in on the Drow there. He uses everything on the Drow, stuns him up. Drow gets force staffed, and then he can't really do anything. Countered by just too many items and too many heroes.
Oh, trees all over the place, too.
Oh, hookshot on the 2!
Yep. Catches a couple. The Ice Blast going to connect at least on Jakiro. But once again, Vega Squadron finding themselves in a place of they're just simply trying to run away and survive. Off to the side, Jakiro is dead. Sven finds Clockwork, but finds Clockwork. He wants to run out. Black Hole? No, Kid's not going to go for it. I mean, he could. He chose not to, though. Instead, Venomancer also distracting a couple more. So, yeah, Sven will actually escape because of that.
Yeah, he definitely could have killed him there with it, but Maybe wants to get that one big flashy black hole, yeah?
Yeah, to
It's
show
a lot
off.
cooler.
That's true.
That's what all the cool kids do.
That's what I do.
And his name is Kid, so.
Makes sense. It's not Cool Kid, though. He's trying to earn that. He's trying to earn that here.
He's trying to earn it. That's right. He can't name himself Cool Kid unless he's a cool kid.
Well, we'll see if he becomes a cool kid here or not. They're going to smoke up and go towards the top lane. Still has that BKB black hole as mentioned. Ag's now finished on Clockwork, so that cooldown on hookshot, not much less. Yeah, I mentioned SFT earlier, guys. Obviously, that was a previous series, but this is HellRaisers versus Vega. So I've already kind of called it, but it's not over just yet. HellRaisers trying to truly finish it now. The black hole, that's what he was waiting for.
Black hole.
There's the really cool kid black hole, the insult black hole. He actually might die to this, too. Being beat down by Sven, and yep, he is going to end up dying. So that's not
all right.
Oh, that's entertaining. Clockwork.
Well, and just like that, they actually lose 2. They still defend their racks and their base, and the game prolongs.
It does.
All right. Could have been a free kill on Sven. That's all I'm saying. They could have used it on that Sven, but we'll see if this bites him in the ass. Obviously, they still have a gargantuan lead, but Vega not out of it.
Yeah, they have a gargantuan lead, but they could have possibly finished the game already is the point to look at. So
I'm pretty sure Sven would have had buyback, but you could have, of course, baited that out.
That's true.
And that would have been very good for them. That would have been a win condition. Right now, they don't quite have the win condition just yet. Obviously, they're up tons of wrecks, but until you kill a core and know that they don't have buyback, you can't actually finish out the game.
Double damage.
Well, Sven has 3,700 gold saved up. What does he get next? Just like a Chrysalis? Does he just get the all-out crit and try to really drop people as he gets on them? I mean, that feels like to me maybe the choice here.
You know, it's so hard because you feel like you really need that Quelling Blade because he's just getting kited so much with Sprout and what have you. But
true. Yeah,
I think you definitely get the Daedalus or at least the component
Chrysalis,
of it to maybe go for the. I always forget the name of the
Chrysalis.
The Chrysalis into the Bloodthorn. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh, okay, the Orchid and Chrysalis. Gotcha.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, you just build a Battle Fury then for your Sven, right? Like, just make use of that Quelling Blade and go right.
Yeah. I mean, you could. That's actually a really good point. If you want to keep it that long in this game, it's actually a really good point.
Upgrade it. Drow jumps in, 4 stabs in, hookshot on the back lines, and Black Hole's not up for 10 more seconds here. Now the BKB's going off somewhere else. Storm Spirit is trying to protect the middle lane here. Kaiser, pop that BKB though, takes down Venomancer the back lines. That's an Axe AoE Vortex right there from Storm Spirit. Kaiser will melt away the God Strength of Sven. They did eventually kill the melee racks. Black Hole is ready, by the way. Something tells me it could be happening here soon. He pops the BKB, but he didn't actually Black Hole here. They are going to be able to take out Venomancer with it as Sven comes back in. Never mind. That's a Shrine Pop, so he actually is going to survive. And now Nature's Prophet, he's going toe-to-toe with the Sven. Hurricane Pike will help him out there. He pops his own BKB now in an attempt to run. The Cog's going down, trying to block, but the Ice Path catches the Nature's Prophet, and so he is dead. Off to the side, you got another strike coming in on a Drow. Drow is in trouble. Remember, no more Aegis, actually, but he pops the cheese. There's the Black Hole, but it stopped. He didn't have a BKB. The Ice Path hits. It doesn't really matter, though. Venomancer's no buyback. Sven, he did buy back and is coming back in. Jakiro barely survives. I mean, there's a lot of just barely surviving going on, I feel like, in this game. But it seems like now HellRaisers is finally overcoming that last bit of the hill to finish the game here. And Storm Spirit, the last-ditch effort. He jumps in. Lotus Orb popped. Sven, he's dead, though. BKB ain't going to save him there. They do drop Enigma. But now G, he's dead as well. Dieback, and that will do it for HellRaisers.
Yeah.
Over Vega Squadron.
Despite that unfortunate kill, I mean, you really got to give credit to Milan. He just played out of his mind. I think Milan and the Nature's Prophet. I mean, really everybody on HellRaisers except maybe some unfortunate black holes here and there, or lack thereof. But they just couldn't get anything on this Sven, man. He just had no game. Slayer wasn't able to find the pickoffs on the Spirit Breaker in both games. Had a great Kunkka game the first game. I mean, those torrents in game 1 were awesome, but just wasn't able to find his footing on the Spirit Breaker in game 2 and 3. And really nicely executed draft here from HR.
Not only does that RP in Game 2 swing that game, but it swings the series,
Yeah.
obviously. Vega won the first game, looked pretty good doing so, and even in the game number 2, they had that great lead. But, man, that RP comes out, and the tides are turned in favor of HellRaisers, and they take it all the way to the Game 3 victory. So they take this series here in the group stages. Like I said, though, this is the round-robin format here, so not to overthink too much. Obviously, Vega Squadron still more than enough in the event. It's just a matter now there will be, with the loss here of 1-2 against HellRaisers. So I believe you get a point if you get a victory, though. So they technically at least get the 1 point for themselves. Where HellRaisers will get the 3 points there. So we're just getting started, though, with the group stages here. These next 3 days going to be for Group A, the following 3 days for Group B. Speaking of that, we do have our final series coming up, and the team that I mentioned earlier, SFTE, they're going to be taking on Team Empire now in their own best-of-3, and that should be happening here in the very near future as we get the lobby set up and everything. So should be a pretty quick break. Well, once again, guys, going to wrap up for now. I'm BreakyCPK, joined by TraLF. Once again, type exclamation point SkinCoin in chat for the giveaway information, as well as visit skincoin.org. The latest cryptocurrency on the esports market. Can trade for your favorite Dota 2 or even CSGO skins as well. That's skincoin.org. Game number 1 of our next series, our final series of the day, Empire versus SFT Esports, will be coming up shortly. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be back.